This is lesson 5, converting standard form equations into slope-intercept form equations. In order to graph any equation, we have to make sure that our equation is in slope-intercept form. So remember that standard form is that ax plus or minus by is equal to c, where a is greater than or equal to 0, a, b, and c are integers with no common factors other than 1, and a and b are not both 0. This means that standard form a is always positive, and there are no fractions or decimals. There is an x and a y, or both. Slope-intercept form is where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. So what does this mean? It says write the equation in slope-intercept form. Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You're going to want to chant this and say this several times until you remember y equals mx plus b. What that basically means is we want our y term to be first in our equation with no coefficient, then your x term, and then your constant. Kind of in the same pattern of if you always put a triangle around your y term, let's do that here, circle around your x term, and a square around your constant. You can see that this pattern currently, circle, triangle, equals square, that's your standard form. When you have x plus or minus y equals 18 here, that's standard form. We need to get it into slope-intercept form. To do this, the first thing you want to do is move that x term right after the equal sign. Or think of it like this: subtract 3x from both sides of the equation. Just when you write what you have after you subtract your 3x, negative 6y is equal to, make sure you write your x term first though, negative 3x, and that 18 never moved. Now I still need to get y all by itself. That negative 6 is beside my y, so I have to divide everything by negative 6. The negative 6's cancel out, and you're left with y is equal to, this will create a fraction right here that you always will need to reduce. Negative 3 over negative 6, and negative over negative is a positive, 1/3 x. Be careful, don't just immediately write plus here just because you see that plus sign. You need to wait until after you divide. A negative or a positive over a negative equals a negative. 18 over 6 reduces to, well, both numbers can be divided by 3. Or can they both be divided by 6, right? So 18 divided by 6 is 3 over 1, or just 3. Just leave it as minus 3. So there's your answer in slope-intercept form. Let's try some more guided practice problems. Identify your x term. That'll be the first step. When you identify that x term and see where it's located, you want to move it after your equal sign. Just remember to change its sign. So we have 5y is equal to negative 2x minus 10. You just move that term to the other side of the equation. Isolate your y by dividing by 5. So the y's, or that 5 cancels out, and you get y is equal to negative 2/5 x. Negative over positive equals a negative. 10 over 5 is 2.
So you're always going to...
Go ahead. You can ask. It's all right. So his question he was worried about was dividing by 5. Is it always going to cancel out this? Yes, it'll always cancel that out so that you're just left with y. Let's take a look at the next one beside it. Find your x term. That's the one that needs to move after the equal sign. You have a negative y there. Don't forget to leave that negative sign in front of that y. We haven't moved it yet. Is equal to We move the 6x over, but remember when you cross the equal sign, you have to change the sign. Negative 6x, and that is a positive 3. So plus 3. Don't forget the sign there between the 6x and the 3. The reason why we have to make sure we add the sign to it is now that 3 is not the leading term or the first term in the expression. Whenever you have a term that moves over or scooches over, you need to give it its sign, so that positive 3 has to be there. Now we need to still get that y all by itself. There's that negative that we need to get rid of. Well, what is that? That's really a negative 1, so we divide everything by negative 1. That cancels out, and you get y is equal to a negative over a positive equals negative over a negative is a positive. 6 over 1 is the same thing as just 6x. Then a positive over a negative is a negative. 3 over 1 is just 3, and that's your final answer. Try doing the next two on your own. Push pause until you're done, and then push play so that you can check your work. Okay, let's check, see how you did. In the first one, we move the 12x to the other side of the equation, so you have negative 6y is equal to negative 12x minus 36. Then divide every term by negative 6. So y is equal to a negative over a negative is a positive. 12 over 6 is 2x. A negative over negative is another positive. 36 over 6 is 6. So you should have y is equal to 2x plus 6. Next one, if you move your 3x to the other side, you should have 12y is equal to negative 3x minus 12. Divide everything by 12. So that cancels out. You get y is equal to negative 3 over positive 12 equals a negative 1/4 x minus 12 over 12 is 1. I can't tell you how many people I see write 0 there, so just be careful. You're dividing, not subtracting. The next problem, we move our x term over and get y is equal to negative x plus 4. That one's an easy one. That's all you have to do. Y is all by itself, so you're done. Move the x term over on the next one. Negative 5y is equal to negative 4x minus 20. Divide by negative 5. Cancels out, so you get y is equal to negative over negative is a positive 4/5. That does not reduce, so just leave it as 4/5 x. Negative over negative is a positive. 20 over 5 is 4. If you wrote 4 over 1, that's fine, but I would go ahead and reduce it just into the whole number for the next step when we get to graphing in the next lessons. All right, we've done all the guided practice.